So this guy who's been, he's like a recovering drug addict himself, and he's been sober for a while, and now he's starting to revert to his criminal ways to find a way to keep his girl, you know, his pet crack monster in gear. Carnival, Fat Tuesday after midnight. Shit, it looks like they've cranked open the gates of hell down by the Prado Junior, the Pussy Arcade. Coked up gangs of funny-faced whores standing ready to face the ashy dawn like grim, determined warrior ants of the apocalypse. A hot wind is blowing in over the water from Mother Africa, and the full moon is lighting up my mind like an old-time pinball machine, and it's on again. They're all out here tonight, last fucking night of Carnival. Some standing in pairs or threesomes, others huddled in larger protective gaggles, all talking wild shit, waiting for the next car to roll up, the next boring exchange of futile host-roll banalities. Bored and boring creatures of the night, creatures of habit with their easy come-and-go grabby mentalities, so dumbly predictable. Same cheap, synthetic, gaudy-colored outfits. Same worn-out plastic heels, crappy tattoos, and saggy, flapjack baby-suck breasts. Nice imagery. I cruise up slowly and park, taking it in again. Same old dejected faces of eternal disappointment and mental slavery, and that odd, ghostly glimmer of innocent, heroic optimism. All eyes alive down here tonight, flashing like searchlights, looking for the big last-minute score, the legendary $100 gringo trick. But the competition is thick tonight, 10 or 20 young girls for every swinging dick out here, and more where they come from, packed like showroom dummies into cramped little one-room Copacabana backstreet flats that reek of garlic and howling babies, transvestite piss, stale beer, maconha smoke, geriatric pussy farts, poverty, loud music, angry shouts, and the occasional gunshot from down the hall. The lucky ones emerge from the disco club hand in hand with their gringos, muscular, well-tanned Italian boys in tight jeans and crisp designer shirts, or balding, sloppy, sunburned Americanos. Walking out of the boache, they're dutifully bombarded by the usual army of beggars and pushers, hollow-faced flower peddlers, strong-arm taxi drivers, pimps, killers, low-level hustlers, shakedown cops, thugs, and glassy-eyed, glue-sniffing 8-year-old wallet snatchers. I sit, that's my kind of place, man. I sit curbside on the bike waiting for a break, watching the whole depressing freak show parade of lost souls and demons and dregs from my invisible crow's nest perch. Another idea pops into my brain like a cartoon light bulb above my head. I fire up the motor and blast off, cruising down the twinkling yellow Avenida Atlantica. I roll up onto the next crowded host roll in front of the Holiday Bar, the same sleazy old Copacabana whore pit where I found NARCISA just a few months before. Now it all seems like another lifetime. I park the bike and get off, looking around at those familiar old surroundings. I walk through the crowd, feeling slightly disgusted by the whole tired scene now. The same stale old loveless mating rituals I've walked through 1,000 nights before. Gringos and whores, whores and gringos. Sex tourists, lonesome refugees from the frigid Puritan wastelands of the North, where sex is a virtual video game played by lonely white men on glowing computer screens. A pathetic perversion of the real world. But this is the real world here. Little Ignacio's familiar old world in living color. Sight, smell, sound, touch, memory. Gringos, cab drivers, cops and muggers and pushers and whores. Whores, 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 all sizes, shapes, heights, and colors. But mostly the common nondescript, dusky brown, misshapen old mulatas and caboclas clustering in the shadows like so many hungry rats. The odd, lonely Brazilian playboy and a few local businessmen hopping the conjugal fence for one last boozy carnival night out. All the girls are out here too, milling around in hungry, giggling rodent droves. Packs of faceless, graceless, loudmouth, fast-talking, razor-sharp bitches straight out of the teeming, dirt-poor whore factories, the dusty slums of the Baixada, predatory pussy, eyeing the nervous little groups of snappy gringos like so many slobbering jackals watching a hen house. The tricks are all dressed up in their white linen suits and straw hats and other typical gringo party wear for their big Copacabana carnival adventure. The same fucking gringos who kept little Ignacio in food and clothing and drugs and lodging and whores way back in another time, another life, another dream. While the girls are wearing the same tastely frilly short skirts and cheap high heel shoes, same old poorly tailored gaudy colored low-cut blouses, the uniform, like they all just popped out of the same fucking cookie cutter hooker mold. Restless ghetto girls out on the prowl for that fabled magic gringo short-time carnival dollar dispenser. Or maybe even a whole week shacked up in some fancy beachfront hotel with trips to the shopping mall and a nice bonus at the end of the programa if they get lucky. Same old whores, same old gringos, same old hustle, same old shit. I should have been a shakedown cop. Just keep an eye on the men's room. Look for the gringo coming out of there, rubbing his nose with that little just did a bump look on his guilty little pink gringo mug. Easy pickings down here as always. Some things never change. Woo. So, you get the drift here. Anyway, so, it goes on, and, now he's out there hustling and rolling gringos and buying her drugs with the money, and, the relationship continues its merry way. And then here's another chapter a little further down. Suddenly 3 months had gone by in a surreal haze of passion and drama, and days and nights of danger and progressive mental illness. Sometimes between her soul-shattering, grueling, week-long crack runs, I'd still try to take Narcissa to the movies or for a walk on the beach at night, a quiet little agua de coco under a palm tree by gentle waves under vital summer moonlight. But things were really getting worse, and she wanted to do that sort of thing less and less anymore. I was getting worse too, running back and forth in a world of petty crime and constant self-doubt. More and more now, I was sucked down into a dark vortex of trouble in my frantic effort to keep her voracious crack habits sated. And still I carefully, lovingly tended to her like a flickering, dying flame, one day at a time. Still just trying to pretend for the moment that everything was fine, that everything was going to be all right somehow. We both knew it wouldn't be all right. But when that's all that's left is the power to pretend, you just take what you can get and do the best you can with it. Her malady was progressing steadily, stealthily, as was my own, my addiction to her and everything that went with it. Soon my life with Narcissa was reduced to 4-hour shifts of worried solitude and prayer, broken up by 2 or 3 hour periods we'd finally spend together again, mostly fucking like angry baboons, or fighting.